What if there was a pill that was clinically proven to slow the process of aging and perhaps even reverse aging, decrease your chances of getting cancer, and reducing your risk of disease? And what if this was a supplement that you could get over the counter? Well, you're in luck because today I'm going to share with you the 7 most powerful supplements when it comes to slowing down the process of aging. Hey, my name is Chalene Johnson, and thank you so much for joining me here today on The Chalene Show. And you're in luck because I just had a follow-up appointment with my longevity doctor. I have 2 longevity doctors. I know that's ridiculous. I also know that the average person, unfortunately, does not have access to the type of care that some of us do. Frankly, it's the medical system. We're not even going to get into it, but it's such a shame that most insurance does not cover anything related to longevity, anything that's related to you being optimal in terms of your health. Unfortunately, most of us have insurance that only covers things when we are sick or we need to fix something or we're diseased, which is a shame, but we're not covering that today. Today, I want to share with you what it is I've learned from my 2 longevity doctors. Now, this is something that I've been very passionate about for the last 10 years, but especially since I've entered into menopause and I realized this is the greatest season of my life. And I don't want to just age and be healthy. I want to age powerfully. I don't need to live to be 105 years old or anything. But while I am alive, while I feel amazing and while I still on the inside, my brain, I feel like I'm 23 years old, I want my body to feel like that too. And that requires doing some research. It also means I'm in this fortunate situation where I have medical doctors who this is what they specialize in. And I'll tell you this, those types of doctors, it's usually completely out of pocket because insurance just doesn't cover it. So I thought, you know what I should do? I should just share this with you because this information is available to anyone. But when you have credible sources who are looking at your labs and talking to you about the research and helping you to understand how there are things available to you that do not require a prescription, that can improve your longevity, that can help us reduce inflammation and so many other things. And there's supplements that are available to everyone. Why would I not share this information, right? All right, so here goes. And the first supplement I want to cover, you've probably heard a lot about recently, and that's creatine. Side note, some people pronounce it creatine, some people pronounce it creatine, potato, you get the point. Creatine is sometimes called the Michael Jordan of supplements. I get it, because creatine, especially as we age, some of the research is astounding. Creatine is a compound that's naturally found in fish and red meats, but in very small dosages. So for a lot of us, it's also produced naturally by our liver, our pancreas, and kidneys. Now, you've probably heard people in the fitness industry talking about creatine. You probably wondered, do I need to take it if I'm not lifting heavy or trying to win a fitness competition? And the answer is yes, if you care about your bone health. If you would like to do everything in your power to prevent having cognitive decline and neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, the new research related to creatine and the way that it protects against neurodegenerative diseases is all the reason you should need to think about why you should be taking creatine. Now, creatine also aids in our muscle recovery. So you probably have noticed that as you're aging, you just don't recover as quickly. Your body's more sore and achy. Maybe it just takes longer for you after a workout to feel okay, I've got my energy back. And creatine is especially important for women who are perimenopausal or postmenopausal, which is everything after menopause, which is just one day. We talked about that last week, right? But it's so important because it helps us to maintain muscle, and muscle is your fountain of youth. Muscle is what improves your longevity. You need strong muscles to work together with your skeletal system, and creatine is one of the ways that you can help to ensure proper muscle maintenance. Creatine also aids in the transfer of adenosine triphosphate, which is just a fancy way of saying creatine is going to help your energy. Now, I get this question all the freaking time, and people want to say, or they'll ask me, well, doesn't creatine make you retain water? There have been some studies that show that it can increase water retention, which gives the muscles kind of a more rounded appearance. But here's what I have to say about that. Who cares? It's a little bit of water retention. Who cares if that's what your body needs, if that's what your muscles need, and if that, makes you go up a pound or two or what? You're not going to go up more than 2 pounds from a little bit of water retention. And if that's what's helping you to maintain muscles, like who really cares? What dosage should you be taking? Ideally, 5 milligrams, but again, dosage is always dependent upon your size, your needs, etc. I personally take 5 milligrams of creatine. Now, I'm also going to share with you probably the most reputable companies when it comes to buying any supplements. But can I just say this? And I've said it before, but I'm going to say it again. She's going to say it again, y'all. Do not buy your supplements on Amazon or the TikTok shop, frankly. As much as I love both of those places, both of those marketplaces, not for things that we're going to put in our body, not for things that we're going to put on our body. So I don't recommend you buy makeup or supplements from Amazon. Although I love those marketplaces, they just don't yet have a very reputable, reliable way to make sure that you're not getting a counterfeit, that you're not getting supplements. It looks like you're buying it directly from the manufacturer, but I've heard so many horror stories of people getting supplements that were expired or they were counterfeit. So even though it's less convenient, you are much more, no, you're almost guaranteed that you're going to get what you've paid for when you're buying it, number one, from your local longevity doctor, or you're buying it directly from one of these companies: Thorne, Pure, Douglas, Metagenics, Bioptimizer, and Zymogen. Now, there are other companies, but you always want to look to see if they're GMP certified, NSF certified for sport, and whenever possible, that the company that you're buying from does third-party testing. It's really important. And in fact, recently I watched a YouTube with a very reputable neuroscientist who was talking about creatine. And in that video, he said, creatine it's just such a basic element that you really don't have to buy an expensive creatine. And I thought, sure enough, I knew I would hear from people who are like, yeah, I just buy this like really cheap brand of creatine on Amazon. I'm like, when you're buying from a company that manufactures supplements, it does matter who you buy from, and it does matter that they're certified. It does matter that they're doing third-party testing, because even though it might not be a complicated supplement, you don't want something that's filled with sawdust or other fillers, or that you don't actually know the effectiveness or the bioavailability of what it is you're taking, or what's actually in the bottle, because these things are not regulated the way pharmaceuticals are. So please do your research, and remember, you often get what you pay for. By the way, before we go much further, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if you're watching this video on YouTube and you're not subscribed, the next time you go to the grocery store, you are not going to find a parking spot. I know. But the good news is all you have to do is like click subscribe right now, and you're going to find a spot like right up front. Trust me, it happens. I don't know how or why. I can't explain it, but it happens. So just double check and make sure you're subscribed. All right, we're cool? We're cool? All right, good. Let's keep going. As part of my longevity plan, my treating physician recently suggested that I do try a pharmaceutical called rapamycin. Yeah, rapamycin. Now, as I said at the beginning, I'm going to share with you supplements that you can take. Rapamycin is currently being used off-label. Again, it is a pharmaceutical, so it has to be prescribed by a doctor. But in doing my research, she suggested to me another supplement that basically produces a lot of the same effects as rapamycin. So you can talk to your doctor about rapamycin, or you can consider doing a supplement called spermidine. Spermidine is a natural compound that's found in foods like beans and wheatgrass. I don't know about you, but I don't eat a lot of beans, and I eat like exactly zero wheatgrass, and I'm all about autophagy. And that's exactly what spermidine can produce in the body. Now, you've heard me talk about autophagy before. Autophagy, in a kind of layman's way of explaining it, is the body's process of cleaning up damaged proteins. Think about it. When proteins accumulate in our body, it creates damage. It creates plaque. It creates the things that make us age. Autophagy is like the turning over of the cellular process. So by taking a spermidine supplement, you can boost autophagy. Now, what's another way to naturally boost autophagy? Pop quiz. Yeah, exercise. If you can exercise, even walking an hour a day, an hour a day, you can do an hour walking. You go and pace around while you're listening to me right now, right? Like, you should stand up. If you're sitting down, stand up and just start moving. Move your feet. The more you move your body, the more exercise, the more physically active you become, the more autophagy you're going to naturally create. But when we want to get that little extra added boost, like, live a little bit longer, look a little bit younger, we need autophagy. So try spermidine. Spermidine is also known to improve cognitive function, in other words, brain health. It's also been shown to naturally boost your body's collagen production, better hair, better skin, better nails. And like many of the other supplements I'm going to cover today, it helps to reduce inflammation. I mean, if you haven't figured it out yet, inflammation is like the worst thing in our bodies. So anything you can do to reduce inflammation is going to improve your longevity and vitality. Next up is resveratrol. I know you've heard of resveratrol, and you may have actually even said to yourself, you know what? I need some resveratrol, so I'm going to have some red wine. But my friends, my mission is to help women specifically age powerfully. And there is nothing, like zero benefits to drinking alcohol when we're talking about living longer, when we're talking about your longevity, if you want to reduce inflammation, if you want to improve the way your body works, if you want a better brain, all of these things are diminished when we drink alcohol. So please, let's not get it twisted. Even myself, I'm sure at some point I have said, unfortunately, that you can get some resveratrol from your red wine, which is true. But any benefits from the resveratrol in red wine are canceled out by the toxic ingredients that is alcohol. Like when your body processes alcohol, it literally destroys anything good you could get from resveratrol. So instead, consider a quality resveratrol supplement. Now, why do we want to take resveratrol? Well, number one, it's a powerful antioxidant, which means it's going to attack the free radicals. Now, free radicals think of them as little enemies inside your body that are damaging your cells, and they make us age faster. They make us have wrinkles. They create DNA and cellular damage. And so the resveratrol fights that as a strong antioxidant. It also has many anti-inflammatory benefits. Resveratrol is important in particular for women because as we age, our blood begins or can begin to thicken. So if you're thinking about heart health, which you should be, especially after the age of 40, resveratrol is a very important supplement. It improves circulation, it keeps blood vessels flexible, which is important to reducing our risk of heart disease. Resveratrol is a supplement that's going to keep your heart strong. You may have never heard of this supplement. It's called Fistin. And this is a powerful supplement that, like, a lot of longevity doctors are studying. I mean, people who are at the cutting edge of this research. And frankly, I will say this, more research needs to be done because a lot of these longevity supplements, as my doctor explained to me, it's really hard to get a clinical study done to look at longevity. So a lot of times they find other ways to do these studies and get them approved, or they do animal studies. At least they're mammal studies. But what we do know is that these supplements are perfectly safe for human consumption. However, the research with regard to longevity, to be completely transparent, is mainly looking at mammals and not humans in studies. Nonetheless, there's so much anecdotal evidence to suggest that, like, we can take something like Fistin to reduce inflammation, to increase longevity, to reduce free radicals, and most importantly, it promotes autophagy. Now remember, autophagy is the way that we clear out dead senescent cells. And senescent cells, that's just like a fancy way of saying, like, cells that are broken and we don't need them anymore, and they're just cluttering up our bodies and they're making us age faster than we need to. And not just from the inside, like people who prioritize the cleaning up of the cellular process, they're just going to look younger. I mean, do yourself a favor and type in the names of any of these supplements on TikTok and type in before and after. And you'll see the before and afters of people once they've taken it like for a year, and you just see a remarkable difference in their appearance. I'm not going to tell you like completely erases wrinkles or anything like that, but there's just a marked difference in the appearance of people who are regularly taking this list of supplements. Of course, as with most of these supplements, they are found in food, but you have to consume a lot of these foods and have a pretty perfect diet to make sure that you're getting all the benefits you need. So my suggestion is, why not take a supplement? Yes, you can find Fistin is found in strawberries and cucumbers and apples, but again, I don't know how much of those things you're eating on a regular basis. So why not get the extra added bonus by taking a supplement? Next up on the list is collagen. And while many of these supplements I've already mentioned do boost your natural production of collagen, taking a collagen supplement is just a surefire way to make sure that you have strong hair, nails, bones, skin. Collagen is what gives our skin elasticity and firmness. And I don't know about you, but like that's one of the more annoying parts about like I don't mind aging at all. Like I really don't. I feel like it's kind of fun to crack the code on this and to figure out there's so many things that we can do now because like of science and supplements that we have an advantage. Like you are going to feel so much more powerful and change the way your kids think of aging versus the way you think of aging because of your parents, right? Like if you look back on TV and you look at women in their 50s and 60s, even like 20 and 30 years ago, they look like they're 90. Do you know what I'm saying? Like now 50 is the new 20. Are you with me? So, and part of this is just understanding how the body works and the natural process of aging and what we can do to bolster it. I recently heard someone say, why should we be doing all these things if our body just naturally is supposed to age? And I thought that's like saying, why should I go to the dentist and take care of my oral hygiene if the teeth are naturally going to rot? Like it just doesn't make sense. Like if we know better, we should do better. And one of the things that we should be doing is supplementing with collagen. Now, there's lots of different types of collagen, I believe 28 different types, but it's really type 1 and type 2 that make the biggest difference when it comes to your longevity, your vitality, and your youthful appearance. As I mentioned, type 1 collagen helps with skin elasticity and firmness, bone strength, your hair and nails, wound healing, and even your gut health. You know what's the worst thing you can do for gut health? Drink alcohol. I mean, if no one's told you, I wanted to be the first. Now, if you have any issues with joint pain or stiff joints or like just like achy parts of your body, it's really important that you consider supplementing with type 2 collagen because type 2 collagen helps to reduce joint pain and stiffness. Type 2 collagen helps to produce that kind of cushion between our joints. So it's easier for you to recover from impact, like, walking around a lot. Like if you're just noticing like, it hurts when I go down the stairs. I notice that my feet are more tender when I'm trying to get in all my extra steps. That might be a good indication that you need more type 2 collagen. Type 2 collagen is also essential for bone health. Not to mention, of course, it has anti-inflammatory properties. Now, inflammation is the thing that most people don't even realize. It's a low-level inflammation that can cause a number of diseases that are otherwise preventable. So every single one of these supplements I've mentioned thus far reduces inflammation. And when we reduce inflammation, we're going to reduce the way our bodies hold on to water because it's inflamed. We do not want the body to be inflamed. So for those of you who are like so worried that creatine is going to put a little bit of water in your body, all these other supplements are going to help your body remove inflammation. As for collagen, I personally take Organifi. This is not a sponsored post, although they are a sponsor of the Chalene Show. The reason why I take the Organifi collagen is number one, there's no taste to it. And it has type 1 and type 2 in it. I know the quality is essential. I know it's all organic. And I just put a scoop of it in my water. Sometimes I put a scoop of it in I'll mix it up with my Greek yogurt. And because it has no flavor. So it's like extra protein. Why would you not just have an extra bag of that and throw a scoop of it in your coffee, your water, or your whatever it is? You could even put in your smoothie. I'll put a link to the Organifi below in my show notes because you get a nice little discount when you use code Chalene and it helps the show. So thanks for doing that. Okay, now we're going to talk about NMN. That's so hard to say. NMNH. Okay. But before we talk about NMNH, we're going to talk about NAD. You probably heard your favorite biohacker or that friend of yours who's like always like, oh, are you doing blah, 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 blah? And you're always like, I don't even know what that is. Okay. Everybody and their brother was talking about NAD like 3 years ago, right? Like every single biohacker. And so, of course, I'm into the longevity stuff. I looked into the NAD. All my friends were like, oh my God, I feel amazing. I'm like, okay, so I'm going to try the NAD. So by the way, NAD stands for, I'm going to try to pronounce this word and you're going to be like, oh my God, that you are so funny because you can't even say the word. Okay, but I'm going to try to say it. NAD stands for nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. Oh Lord, that is so hard to say. Let's just call it NAD. Okay. So NAD, ideally, you should do it via IV injection. Now, because NAD has become so popular as like the superhero to all supplements that improves your cellular energy, supposedly your brain function, like, everything that we talked about thus far, NAD supposedly does like all of these things and more. I say supposedly. Actually, the research is quite remarkable. But the problem, for me anyways, with NAD is because it is most effective when it's delivered via IV injection or IV drip. That means you've got to work with a practitioner who can, write your prescription for an NAD. It's really hard to get. And I know a lot of people are selling like these NAD pills, but the research is still inconclusive with regard to how bioavailable the NAD is in pill form. That being said, when I did the NAD drip, I did the IV drip, I freaking hated it. So first of all, they dripped it in so slow over the course of 4 hours, because if they push it in fast through your IV, you just feel like the worst flu of your life. And by flu, I mean like you're in the bathroom. Like it's horrible. So then the next time I did, I was like, okay, can we slow down the drip? It took 4 hours for me to receive the full dosage. The entire time I was just like just dying. Like I felt like I was going to, and I'm like, I don't care if this makes me live 10 years longer. I am never doing this again. It was horrible. And all of my friends who do it, like they kind of say the same thing. I'm like, did it make that big of a difference? Like, did you feel like, oh my God, so much more energetic? And I just haven't met anyone yet. This is all so anecdotal. I'm just telling you, because the injections can run anywhere from $600 to $1,500. And you're going to feel sick the whole time you're getting it. And I just didn't feel that different. So what I started doing is talking to both of my longevity doctors. I'm like, what else can we do that kind of has some of these same benefits of NAD? And maybe NAD is the holy grail, but like I can't do it. And the average person can't afford to do that. Like that's crazy, right? Okay, so that's where NMNH comes in. What that does, that is like a precursor to NAD. Now, NAD is something we all produce naturally. So by getting an IV of NAD, you're like bolstering the NAD that you have. But NMNH is a precursor. NMN, which stands for nicotinamide mononucleotide. Yeah, let's just call it NMN, which also is not easy to say. NMN converts to NAD in your body. So, in other words, by taking NMN, you can naturally boost your own NAD without having to pay for the $1,500 injection. And listen, I'm not suggesting that NMN is as good as NAD. I just think it's more readily available. I think it's more affordable. And I also know for a fact, because I've taken it, it doesn't make me sick. So you can bolster your energy. You can produce more adenosine triphosphate, your body's systems of energy. It improves your heart function. Studies show that it has a protective quality for the brain and boosts cognition. Other reasons why people love NMN, of course, because it bolsters the NAD, is it helps insulin sensitivity, which improves your metabolic function. NMN is known to activate sirtuins, which are proteins that are linked to longevity and cellular repair. This has been shown to increase longevity, again, in mammals and reduce the signs of aging. NMN is also known to improve mitochondrial function, reducing inflammation, supporting healthy cells, and it helps to reduce against all age-related diseases. Again, even with NMN, you want to make sure that you're using a reputable supplement company. NMN is also available in IV form. Of course, that's more expensive and less readily available. And all of these things, I encourage you to do your own research. So I want to share with you one of the tools that I use for research all the time, and it's an AI tool. It's called Perplexity. This is not a plug, but Perplexity is amazing. It's AI like Chat GPT. With Perplexity, when you do a search, you can specifically make your search focused on, for example, peer-reviewed academic papers that have been published in the last year. So you are always looking at up-to-date published research versus, no offense, but stuff on WebMD or stuff on some random website or some random person's YouTube. Like, I want you to look at the research yourself. And if you're not good at reading research, here's another thing you can do with AI. Just copy and paste the whole research documentation, including the citations, and then put that into Perplexity and say, summarize the following research for me in plain English. It's amazing. Like, you're going to feel like you're a scientist. You're going to feel so smart. And now you know my secrets. I know I said that creatine is like the Michael Jordan of supplements. And if that's the case, I would dare say that magnesium is the Shaquille O'Neal of supplements. You know, I love Shaquille O'Neal. Okay. Hi, Shaq. Okay. So, what is magnesium responsible for? Pretty much everything in your body. Magnesium is responsible for over 300 different bodily functions, and it correlates with every single hormone function you have. And basically, we are a walking system of hormones. So when your magnesium levels are off, you are not going to work at optimal levels. Your body just doesn't function the way it needs to when you don't have adequate magnesium. And some studies suggest that up to 76% of the population is deficient in magnesium. Yes, of course, you can find magnesium in your foods, but the average person, even if you're eating a perfect diet, you're probably still deficient in magnesium. Magnesium supports muscle function, relaxation. It helps to diminish anxiety, regulates blood pressure. It supports a healthy immune system. It assists in adenosine triphosphate or ATP, so it helps us to bolster energy. We need magnesium for proper protein synthesis. In other words, your body's not going to turn your protein into muscles if you have inadequate magnesium levels. Magnesium helps to regulate blood sugar. It reduces inflammation. We need magnesium for proper brain health and cognition. And if you're doing a vitamin D supplement, which I hope you are, you need magnesium in order for your body to properly absorb the vitamin D and many other essential vitamins and minerals. And of course, magnesium plays a role in our body's ability to relax and to sleep. Now, the reason why you're hearing magnesium responsible for all these different functions is because there's so many different types of magnesium. And that is why it's really important when you're looking at a magnesium supplement that you consider one that has at least 5 to 8 forms of magnesium so that you're not taking like one magnesium for sleep and one magnesium to feel calm and one magnesium for digestion. Like the supplement that I take is from Bioptimizer. I recommend it. They are show sponsors, so that means you get a discount for it. And here's the reason why I love this one. First of all, I love putting all of my supplements into my water bottle. This is my water bottle. And right now this one has collagen in it right now. It has my immunity in it. It has my magnesium. I just put a scoop in once a day. You can do magnesium in a capsule form as well. But again, I highly encourage you to use a reputable supplement company, to not purchase these things off of Amazon or the TikTok shop. Go directly to the company. Of the ones that I've listed here for you below, I have an affiliate link for some of those, not all of them. Again, make sure that they are GMP certified. Make sure that you're buying from a reputable source, and always check your expiration dates, even when you're buying from a reputable source, because you want to make sure that what you're getting is still effective. That's a list of the 7 most powerful anti-aging supplements that you can buy over the counter without a prescription to help you not just look younger, but to feel younger, to have more energy, so your body works at optimal levels. Like, let's take advantage of all of the science and all of the research and all of the things that are available to us so that we can enter into the season of our lives to feel amazing. Maybe even better than you did when you were younger. Like, I personally feel better today at 55 than I did for sure when I was at 35, and way better than I felt at age 45. And a lot of that has to do with like making small lifestyle changes, supplementing, like understanding my own nutrition, and it's exciting. I want this younger generation to realize, like, you shouldn't be afraid of aging. You should be excited about it. And you're not too old to start making changes. I got a message today from a woman who is 68 years old, and she's been drinking almost every single day of her life since she was 18, and she just stopped drinking 17 days ago. So I want to say congratulations to anyone who's on this journey. Listen, we just make these little minor changes, make the changes that feel right for you. I'm sharing with you what it is I do. I wish that everybody had insurance that covered these kinds of doctors, because it's just remarkable. But until that time, like, I got to pay it forward and share with you the knowledge that I receive from the doctors that I work with. But again, do your own research. I hope this is helpful for you. If it was, please do me a favor, make sure that you're subscribed to the show. It means the world. And don't forget to leave me a comment. Let me know if you want me to cover the most powerful supplements that you can get over the counter to help you sleep, to help you fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and get really good, deep, and REM sleep. Because if that's an episode that you would like to hear a little bit more about, I'd be happy to do it. Hey, thanks for listening. I love you. I mean it. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Bye. We're JJ Fresh and we're JJ Fresh? We're JJ Fresh and we're here to rock. Rhymes like us can never be stopped. See, there's three of us and I know we're fresh. Party rockers non-stoppers and our names are deaf. See, the J is for just, the other is for jamming. The F is for fresh, A-N-D deaf. Behind the turntables is DJ Train. Mixing and scratching is the name of the game. Now here's a little something about nosy people. It's not real hard, it's plain and simple. Baby D. Supersonic. You're welcome.